The moment Evelyn Parker stepped off the train, the air felt heavier, colder, like Hollow Creek itself remembered her. 10 years had passed since Ethan's death, yet the streets still whispered his name. Her heart raced as she drove past the church where they planned to marry. The same oak tree stood near the cemetery gate, its branches like twisted hands reaching for her. That night, she heard something that froze her blood, a faint whisper from the dark woods calling her name. Evelyn. It sounded just like him. She tried to convince herself it was the wind, but deep inside, she knew. The next morning, she found muddy footprints outside her window leading toward the graveyard. Trembling, she followed them until they stopped right in front of Ethan's grave, fresh soil disturbed, as if someone had just been there. And then she saw it, her engagement ring, half buried in the dirt, glinting under the morning sun. She never placed it there. Her breath caught as a shadow moved behind her. When she turned, there was no one. Yet, the air whispered once more. You came back, just like you promised. Her heart ached, and for the first time, she wasn't sure if she was alone. The next evening, Evelyn returned to the graveyard with flowers, her trembling hands clutching a bouquet of lilies, Ethan's favorite. The ground felt strangely warm beneath her feet. She noticed something odd. The earth over his grave was slightly raised, like something below was pushing upward. Then came the faint sound of breathing, soft, shallow, steady. She froze. It was coming from the grave itself. Her mind screamed to run, but her heart wouldn't let her. A cold wind brushed her neck, and she turned to see a single red rose on the hood of her car, freshly placed. The petals glistened with dew, though it hadn't rained in days. Sheriff Dalton appeared out of nowhere, his flashlight cutting through the dark. You shouldn't be here, Evelyn, he warned. People say the dead don't rest easy in Hollow Creek. She asked if he believed it. He hesitated. Some nights, he said, I hear them too. When she looked back, the rose was gone. Only a smear of fresh soil remained on her windshield, shaped almost like a handprint. She whispered, Ethan, is that you? And the air answered with silence so deep, it felt alive. 2 days later, Evelyn found the first letter. It was slipped under her hotel door in an envelope sealed with wax. Inside, a piece of paper smelled faintly of cedar, Ethan's cologne. The handwriting was his. You promised forever, it read. Come to the place where forever began. Her heart pounded. That place could only mean their old house by Hollow Creek. But Ethan had died before they ever moved in. Confused and terrified, she drove there as the sun sank behind the hills. The house was still abandoned, windows cracked, vines crawling over the porch. On the dusty piano inside lay another letter. I'm still here, it said. The veil is thin now. As she read, the piano keys pressed down one by one, playing the song she wrote for their wedding. Tears filled her eyes. This isn't real, she whispered. Then she heard it. A voice, faint and trembling, whispering her name from the hallway. Evelyn. She turned slowly, and in the dim light saw a shadow that looked almost human, standing at the end of the corridor. The old Parker mansion creaked as Evelyn stepped inside, flashlight trembling in her grip. The smell of dust and burnt candles filled the air. Every room seemed frozen in time. His jacket still on the coat rack, their photo on the fireplace. She called his name, and the walls echoed it back like a sigh. Suddenly, the light flickered, and every bulb in the house blinked in sequence. Then the message appeared, glowing faintly on the cracked wall above the stairs. Find M.E. She gasped, stumbling back as cold air rushed past her. A portrait of Ethan fell from the wall and landed face up. His painted eyes seemed alive, following her every move. In the reflection of the glass, she saw another figure standing just behind her, a pale outline with hollow eyes. When she spun around, it was gone. Her knees weakened as she whispered, Ethan, what happened to you? From somewhere deep in the house, a man's voice responded softly, You forgot me. Her flashlight flickered again, and when it steadied, she saw footprints of wet soil leading up the stairs, each one fresh, each one waiting for her to follow. Evelyn could no longer deny it. Something beyond life was trying to reach her. Desperate, she contacted Dr. Hayes, a paranormal investigator from Boston. That night, under flickering candlelight, they held a seance in the mansion. Evelyn's trembling hands rested on the planchette as the board quivered. Spirit of Ethan Parker, Hayes called. Are you here? Slowly, The planchette moved to yes. Tears rolled down Evelyn's cheeks. Ethan, it's me, she whispered. Why can't I see you? The candles dimmed, and the temperature plummeted. Suddenly, a deep, distorted voice broke through. Not Ethan. The planchette flew across the room, smashing into the wall. Hayes shouted for her to stop speaking, but Evelyn couldn't. Where is he? Where's Ethan? She cried. The air hissed. The furniture shook, and the floorboards cracked open slightly beneath them. A shadow crawled across the ceiling, long, stretching, shifting. Then the voice whispered again, softer this time. He belongs to me. Hayes grabbed Evelyn's arm and pulled her away from the table as the candles went out, leaving them in complete darkness. The last thing she heard before blacking out was a faint whisper beside her ear. Evelyn, don't trust the light. When Evelyn awoke, the house was silent. The investigator was gone, leaving behind his shattered equipment. A strange mark burned on her wrist, shaped like an infinity symbol. She searched his notes and found one word written in panic: curse. That evening, she went to the town library and uncovered Hollow Creek's darkest secret. In the 1800s, a couple named Elias and Margaret Hollow tried to cheat death through a ritual of eternal union. The spell worked, but only by binding their souls to the land, turning it into a graveyard for cursed lovers. Every generation, two souls would repeat their fate, doomed to suffer until the curse was broken. Evelyn's blood turned cold. Ethan had known. He died performing the ritual again, trying to free them both. Now his spirit was trapped between life and death, feeding the darkness that haunted the town. She realized the truth. She was never supposed to return. By stepping back into Hollow Creek, she had awakened the curse all over again. The moon hung full over Hollow Creek as Evelyn prepared for the final ritual. Guided by the old texts, she knew what must be done: open the veil and bring Ethan peace. At the heart of the cemetery, she lit 6 black candles and placed their wedding ring in the center. Ethan, she whispered, I'm here. Come back to me. The wind howled, and the flames bent backward. A shimmering light formed in front of her, and then he appeared. Ethan's spirit, pale and broken, his eyes filled with sorrow. You shouldn't have come, he said softly. I had to, she cried. I promised forever. They reached for each other, their hands passing through air, yet warmth bloomed between them. I waited for you, he whispered, even in the grave. Behind him, the darkness gathered, forming a monstrous shape. It won't let me go, Ethan said. It needs one of us to stay. Evelyn smiled through tears. Then let it be me. She stepped forward, and the world exploded in white light. When the sun rose over Hollow Creek, the curse had lifted. The mansion stood silent, its windows glowing faintly with morning light. Sheriff Dalton found the cemetery undisturbed, except for 2 sets of footprints leading to the old oak tree, one fading, one fresh. On the ground lay Evelyn's ring beside a single red rose. That night, as mist rolled over the graves, a traveler passing through saw 2 faint silhouettes standing hand in hand, whispering to each other. Do you hear that? He asked his companion. A soft voice floated through the fog. Love me, even in the grave. The wind carried the words across the hills, gentle and eternal. Somewhere beyond, in a place untouched by darkness, Ethan and Evelyn finally walked together under the light of forever, their souls bound not by curse, but by love that even death could not silence.